Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I'm here with another video review of a game that, unlike some of the reviews I do, isn't a game that you probably can purchase right now, but it is a game that is on Kickstarter, and there's a little over a week left on that. And it is a game that actually was published several years ago. I believe it was in 2004, and it has since gone out of print, but it was one of those games that a lot of people enjoyed, but maybe it didn't get, maybe in a way it was released too early for it to be appreciated. At least that's my theory. It was a game that I always wanted to try, and luckily the publisher that is doing the Kickstarter, which has been successful, I mean the game is going to be published now, they got a hold of a copy, like an older copy. You know, it's was kind of neat finding a copy of a game that's like old. And the game is Lost Valley. Now, the game of Lost Valley is a game. It's really weird. It's a game of exploration. It is a game that it is a Euro. I mean, and you are kind of racing against the other players. You are all gold prospectors, and there's this valley that recently was discovered, and everybody's racing there and trying to locate the gold. Whether you're getting that by panning for it in a river or making a mine in the mountains where the gold is located, and you're attempting to gather up that gold so you can have the most, basically, and win the game. And it's a game that, it's a tile game, so as you play it you lay these tiles out, but the map will be different each time. A lot of tile games, like, you pick up a tile and you look at it and you figure out where you want to place it and things like that. But in this game, when you like explore a new area, the game itself tells you just draw tiles, and then you have to fit them into the place. So you say, I'm going to explore here, and so on. And when I show you how to play the game, you'll understand that better. So it has a very neat aspect where it's an ever-changing board that constantly always changes, but unlike those ever-changing boards that, like, you have some sort of control over, you don't have as much control over this particular game. It has some very neat little aspects to it, as far as like different items that you collect that'll help you do certain things. If you've played games like this, there's the always wonderful multiple paths to victory that this game really involves all the players. And it's also a game where you think that you might be losing a lot of times, but because of the fact that you may be shrewd and you may be able to take advantage of the options that are available to you at each given turn, you might end up actually coming from behind and winning, which is something I've done several times when I played this. But anyway, as always, I'm going to show you how to play the game. This is Lost Valley, and I'm going to do that in one of my little semi-lengthy overviews of the gameplay, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of this particular game, and hopefully you can take that information and you can possibly go to the Kickstarter page, and like I said, you got a little over a week left, and maybe you can put some money down, and then when the game gets republished you can get a copy of it for yourself. But enough yakety yak, let's go ahead and tell you exactly how to play Lost Valley. Here we go. Okay, I didn't want to actually build out the board in front of you because that would take a while. But I did kind of just set up kind of a what might be the status of a 4-player game as they're playing. They're about maybe halfway through, or towards maybe only a third of the way through the game. And I just wanted to show this. And I'm going to show you how the board works here in just a second, but there's a couple of things I wanted to show you prior to that. The first thing, the game comes with this little checklist, which is very helpful. It lists off the items that you can purchase at the trading post, and it actually gives what the effect is of said item. For tools, and it tells you if it's like a raw material or whatever. Tools are used to obviously build things. Whiskey gives you an extra move or an action. The horse allows you to move 2 spaces. Cart allows you to carry more, and so on and so forth. And so you can see that's the golden nugget price. You see those little 2 dots there. And also on the back, it explains that the different markers. Since the game is about collecting gold, you're collecting these markers that are either the river gold is the green and the mountain gold is the gray. To collect that, what it costs to collect it. And so like it costs like a food, so you have to expend a food if you're going to collect river gold, like you're panning for gold basically, so you're spending food to sit there and eat and have the energy to do that. And then you notice that to collect the mountain gold, you need food for the timer, obviously, and then you need, this is timber, so I don't know, I mean basically you're using timber to prop up the mine that you're using or what have you. To collect an event token, you have to expend 2 items of some sort, whether they're wares or raw material, so on and so forth. If you're going to try to shoot an animal, so when you roll a d6, whoever roll you and one other person rolls a die, you roll a die, and then if you roll higher than the other person, you manage to catch that animal and convert it into food. If you have a gun, you get +3 to that actually. Roll, so it's always kind of nice to have a hunting rifle if you're going to be hunting for food. And then down here are the different buildings you can make. The sawmill, which allows you to get more wood from a forest, the fishing net, the canal that pushes the water into areas that have no water, so you can actually pan for gold in those areas, and of course the mine, and then the costs as well. So I mean, it's kind of handy to have that. And then this is your character sheet here. If you notice, that's like, oh, well, I wonder who that guy is. Anyway, so this is your backpack. That's where you keep up to 6 raw materials. This is your gear. And the interesting thing about gear is that one of the pieces of gear that you can get, and most gear you will buy from the trading post. Sometimes you can find some, but most gear. But here is a cart, and if you notice, that takes up 2 spaces in your gear there, but it opens up this for raw materials, which is very helpful actually, because a lot of times like raw materials are food and tools, and a lot of times like you're always like low on food, because the food is like the fuel that allows you to keep doing what you're doing. And so having this open is very helpful. And then down here is where you'll keep your gold as you collect it. And gold, when you collect it, I'm just going to grab a couple of these tokens, it's kept face down, like so. So the other players don't know. You can look at it and say, okay, that one's worth 2, and that one's worth 1, but since you make sure the other people don't see that, because they have no idea how much gold you collected. You can, one of the ways to end the game, if the game doesn't end because of the glacier coming, and I'll show that in a second, is that once somebody has 10 of these tokens on their player board, they can head back to the trading post and declare the game is over. And then so everybody then flips over the tokens and they count how many. So this is kind of nice to keep that secret from everybody else. But anyway, those are the 2. That's the little player board that you get, and that's the little helpful board that you can reference during the game. Anyway, the game itself is actually pretty self-explanatory. All the players start here. This is the starting piece that you place on the board. And then as you explore the Lost Valley, you experience these particular tiles that you draw. And you can notice that there's a tile of land, a tile of river, and then these special triangle tiles that only get placed if you actually can close off a triangle spot on the board, and you get to place one of those. And this piece is actually the end river piece that you'll place on the board. When you place the end river piece, it's because either you can't build out the river anymore because of the fact that the river tiles you draw kind of close off where the river is going, or you use up all the river tiles. Interesting thing about the game is that you don't actually place your tokens on the actual middle of the tiles. When you explore, you actually move along the edges of the tile. Also, the river here actually does prohibit movement from crossing it. You probably can't see it too well, but back here in the trading post, there's these 2 little fjords that you can barely see, and that's like the one spot on the board where you can actually cross the river. Now, if you have a canoe, which you can get from the trading post, you can cross the river at any time. And also, the canoe allows you to move up and down the river very quickly. Normally, during the game, no 2 prospectors can share the same spot. The only difference is along the river you can have two of people on the same corner. But that's a very important distinction to have due to the fact that a lot of times if you're working on a mine and you don't, like, say we had a mine on that location and blue wanted to use it, they can, you know, make it tough to get there because red can't just walk straight through because, you know, they can't get through that area because there's that person there. And you can use that to your advantage in situations to prevent people. Because if on a turn you do move, say, to there, your movement immediately stops, and then you're forced to draw these tiles to fill out the spot. And so, like, he could go, okay, well, I've moved there, now I grab this forest tile, and the forest tile, you can see, has a little animal here. I'll show you that a little closer. But there's a little animal on there, meaning that you could hunt there. And there's also, obviously, wood there, and you can cut timber down. Now, when you get that, I place these in one of these cool little IKEA bowls. Great deal. If you ever go to an IKEA, they have these bowls. They're for kids, but I use them for tokens and stuff for lots of games, like anything with lots of little bits. Anyway, you grab one of these at random, you don't look at it, and you place it on there because you don't know exactly what the animal is. Now, if you ever do kill the animal or shoot it, taking a hunting action, you would say, oh, I killed it, and you flip it over, and you'd say, oh, wow, it's a bear. And you'd see it's worth 4 food. It's pretty cool. So, as the game progresses, what you're doing is you're trying to move to different locations that allow you to mine the gold. I mean, and along the way, you have to make sure that you're collecting the other resources, because pretty much all the other resources in the game allow you to get that gold. You need wood to create canals from the river to these locations that have the gold. You can see it by the number on there. That tells you that there's gold tokens on those spots. And then you build a canal to that location, so then you can actually start excavating that gold. You build mines on locations on the mountain locations that allow you to excavate the gold. All these require food. They require timber. They require tools. And so the game has a very good kind of back and forth of it, where you're getting gold, but you end up actually using some of the gold to purchase items at the trading post, and then you're actually then, you know, buying items that don't inherently automatically get you gold. Like, you go in there and you buy a hunting rifle because you know you're going to be going over to, like, say, this spot where there's all these animals that you are able to hunt that are able to have easy access to gold. So you have this character who goes here, they hunt, they kill this bear like I was showing you, and then they get the 4 food, and then they head back here. So they have this perfect little spot where they have a sawmill here, and they're using that to cut down timber in that location, and then they're using the timber and the food they just got to get these gold tokens, and they're able to grab that. And so you can see that one's worth like 3, and so they claim that. And so the really interesting thing about the game is that not only are you doing this, but you have to do it in such a way that you have to kind of try to prevent other people from taking advantage of what you're building. Because just because you build a sawmill here doesn't mean it's yours. Blue can move over here and say, hey, a sawmill, I need some wood, and they're going to go ahead and use that. And it adds this little dynamic to the game that you kind of want to head off in your own direction and do your own thing, but then you hope that the other players just basically don't follow you, so they never actually try to use up what you're using. But as I said, the game progresses. You explore, you collect the gold by using your resources to do so, and eventually what happens is, say, like, blue goes here, and you draw, and like, so here's this river piece, and it has to be able to fit. And so, well, we go, well, that doesn't fit there because the river can't go in that location. So we say, okay, fine. So you keep drawing river tiles, and you try to get ones to fit, and so on, and so until you do. And so there, that one actually fits. And then, so then he has to fill out the rest, and so then he builds, just grab another one like so. And then, like, on the next turn, if he goes there, and this was the only tile that was left. I'm just kind of speeding it up here, but that's the only tile left. He can't play. Well, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you could. Let me just try to prove myself wrong here. So let's build the river into a situation where it just won't work. So let's say this is the last tile, and let me fill this out real quick, and like so. I apologize for the kind of rush there, but let's see. In this situation, and you have this tile, and so you're like, and this is the last one, and it just won't work. So what happens then is that you then place the last tile like that, so the river is done. And once the river is done, you can still build off using these particular tiles here. But eventually these tiles will run out, and you'll have to actually use the glacier. And what happens with the glacier is that it begins on this particular spot right here at the river, at the river beginning, I guess, or the river, or the natural spring that starts the river. And that is the location where you'll place that. This is after all the land tiles are out, and and now nobody has claimed victory. Nobody has gone back to the trading post and say, I have 10 pieces, let's do that. And then after every turn, this glacier slowly moves its way back towards the trading post. And once it reaches the trading post, then regardless of anybody's declared victory, the game is over and everybody checks to see how much gold they have. I've never actually had that happen in a game that I've played. Usually at some point somebody just has what they think is the most gold out of anybody else, and they make a mad dash back to the trading post to finalize the game. And that's, it's a real basic overview of the game, but that's how you play. I mean, there's all these different things that you can use to help yourself. Like, you'll notice in the river, there's like a fish icon, and like if you have you can fish there with nothing, just basically putting your hands in the water to grab fish and capture them and use them as food. However, if you've gone to the trouble of going to the trading post and got a fishing rod as one of your gear, you can then fish there and you can gain another fish. You can actually get 2 food there. Now, you can actually use the fishing rod anywhere there's water, and you can get at least 1 fish. Finally, you can build what's called like a fishing net. You can place that on a location with fish. That gets you an extra fish besides the one that's already there. Use the fishing rod there. Then you can use that location to get 3. Now, once again, of course, the fishing net that's there, it stays there. So it's always there for somebody to be able to use that location, just like the mine, just like the lumber mill and things like that. But once again, it's like one of those things where it's a risk reward. It's one of those situations where you have to decide that even though this might help my opponents a little bit, I think it'll help me more. And so you can kind of see that it's got a lot of really, really good choices that you have to make as you play the game. And all it is you're trying to gather up. I mean, basically what the game comes down to is trying to make sure that you have enough food, energy, fuel, basically, to gather up as much gold as you possibly can. And so there's, at the very beginning, there's kind of a mad dash for everybody to grab some gold and race back to the trading post, because there's a finite number of items in the trading post. It isn't like there's like a ton of cards. There isn't a ton of canoes. Once those items are used up, they're gone until somebody actually discards them, and then they go back to the trading post. So there's a mad dash to get gold, get back, get your equipment that you think you're going to need, and then you head out and you try to use that to optimally get as much gold faster and quicker and more efficiently than everybody else. And the really cool thing was, because it's a tile game, the board is different each and every time that you play. So that's really basically how you play Lost Valley. There's a lot more to it than what I just said, and as you play it, you're really going to discover all the ins and outs, and it's a really real masterful design, really. And the fact that it came out so long ago makes me kind of sad that I didn't know it existed back then, because I could have been playing this game for a lot of years. So anyway, let me tell you exactly what I think about this game. Hey, okay, so Lost Valley. There you go, you know how to play the game. Okay, so what do you think? I really like the game. And it's going to be one of those things where I really like the game due to the fact that I literally don't have another game like it on my shelf. You know, there are games that have an exploration gambit to them. Eclipse, for example, a game of space exploration. You know, games like that where you flip over spots as you discover them. The old Tom Wham game, I can't even think of it right now. the mazes and monsters. It's not mazes and monsters. I can't remember the name, but I'm sure somebody will post it. You know, things like that where you move onto a spot, you flip the tile over, that's what you got, kind of thing. But it's been so rare for a game to actually focus on that theme. I mean, other games, they have so much other stuff going on. You know, like I said in my Eclipse, like if the game isn't all about exploring space, I mean, there's like space combats and technologies and things like that. This game, however, it's all about the exploration and finding that good spot, and then being able to mine the heck out of those spots before anybody else can come by and take what you've worked so hard at making. And I think that's one of the things that I really kind of enjoy about this game, is the fact that not only do you have to do really well for yourself as far as finding that location, getting that perfect item that'll help you use that location, you know, say, you know, dynamite in the mountains, you know, because that allows you to grab more gold, if you will. But you have to do it in such a way that you have to kind of make sure that nobody else takes advantage of what you're doing. And I love the fact that, you know, it'd be one thing that if you just went out and you just gathered up the gold and raced each other, but I really like the fact that they have that you never seem to feel like you have enough. You know, it's like, because on your card, you never feel like you have enough space on your card to hold everything. I mean, because you have to have so much food to be able to do everything. And that's the big thing. You always need food. And it's just like, so you have to balance your gold collection with your food. You have to balance, like, having the timber that'll allow you to build, you know, the mine, if you will, but also you need food to be able to use that. So you have to be able to, you know, say, like, have a fishing rod so you can go and get, you know, be successful in catching fish in the river, and then so you have that food that will allow you to do this. And so it's this balance act that you constantly are doing each and every turn, and it can be very frustrating at times, but not like a frustrating, like I hate this game frustration, but like a nice mind fuzzying trying to optimize your turn bit going on. And I like, if you've watched these videos, you know that I've said this many times, but I like games that make me feel like that. I always love the feeling of I don't have enough time to do everything that I want, and plus the fact that you're racing against these other people at the table, and even though they are also having that attitude of I don't have enough time, you're always thinking of like, but they seem to be doing better than me, or you know, I might not have enough time, but hopefully, you know, my buddy Craig has even less time, or he has even less of what he needs to do what he wants to do. And you combine all that with like, you know, making my mind work hard, and then the randomness of the tiles, and you know, building out the valley and seeing what transpires, and getting those triangle hexes out, because they are the ones that have the really odd things, you know, like the bear den, or where you can always go and hunt and kill something, or the second trading post and things like that. I mean, getting that special tile out, and it's like, so you're always kind of trying to like investigate an area and put tiles down in such a way that it forces you to draw that triangle. And that's, I mean, I like that aspect. And it was really weird because I didn't, when we first played the game, because, like, you know, when I got it, you know, and the publishers are kind enough to send me this copy, we put it on the table and we played it out, and we didn't really go for those triangles right away. And so we played it out, and we were like, well, this is really fun. It was kind of, and I ended up winning, which, woohoo, I won. But I mean, the very first game I played, and then we were like, God, we only like used one of these triangle tiles, and they're like, what are the rest of them do? And so we kind of like went through them and looked at them, and like, I always, whenever I play a game the first time, I go in blind, and I don't research it, I don't dig through it, I don't try to find strategies out. I just go in blind and try to do something crazy and try to figure out how the game works. And So we kind of went through it all, and we're like, whoa, look at all these weird, cool triangle tiles, and we never even got any of these. And so we went and we played it again, and this time we actually tried to get those and place those on the board. And that added like a whole new aspect and dynamic to the game, and it was really enjoyable. And I've played it many times since, and it hasn't grown stale after like a half dozen plus plays. And for me and a Euro, that says a lot, because I'm getting to the point now where I've played several hundred, at least a couple hundred different games in my gaming career, and I'm at the point now where I really need something about a game to grab me and make me want to play it again, and Lost Valley has done that, and I really like the fact, and this is something that's cool about the Kickstarter program, is that they actually are revamping it slightly. They're making it so the gold tokens that you turn over will actually be worth more. The ones in the river will be worth a little bit more, just because they're getting rid of the one gold token, which makes like a river strategy or a panning for gold strategy more viable. And there's all the other changes too. And I would strongly suggest, if you're looking forward to maybe purchasing this game, going to the Kickstarter page or going to the Lost Valley second edition page on Board Game Geek, and you can kind of see the details of that. And of course, as with any Kickstarter program, as the funding gets higher and higher, there's going to be more and more cool little benefits that they're going to be giving out as well. And I like I said, it's going to be published. They've met their goal. And if you were lucky enough to get it on the Pandasaurus Tammany Hall Kickstarter, which I did a video for, you'll know that they did a really good job. That game's out now, and everybody's got their copies, theoretically, I hope, and they did a fantastic job with that. And so the fact that they're just, I have nothing but the utmost faith that they're gonna do Lost Valley justice. But there you go. I really enjoy the game. It's fairly family oriented in my opinion. It might be the problem solving aspect of the making sure you have the right equipment for doing certain things may push yourself into maybe 10, 11, 12 years old is what you're looking for if you're looking for a game for the family. If you're looking for a game for gamers game, this definitely is that medium heavy type of Euro. And also it's a game that like I said, it can be tough, but it's very interactive because of the fact that there is a little bit of trash talk going on as far as iGroup goes, because you were always if you're always trying to make sure you put the mine somewhere right, but you always want to make sure it's far enough away from everybody else that they can't race over and use it, after you went all that hard work, right, to get it set up. And so there's always kind of that kind of trash talk going on with me and my gaming group, and I really enjoy that. I really enjoy the fun bickering, if you will. And also if some jerk gets the trading post for you and buys the limited item like a net or something like that you really needed, it's always fun to be angry with them and wish there was some sort of rule that you could use the hunting rifle to shoot the other prospector so you could take their stuff. But that is not this kind of game. It's a bloodless game, I guess. Well, I guess you kill animals, but as far as attacking other players, you really can't do that. But very enjoyable game. I would strongly suggest you checking out the Kickstarter if this is something you are interested in getting. Like I said, Lost Valley. As always, Undead Viking, if you have any questions or concerns, you can ask them below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, this is me signing out. You have yourself an absolutely wonderful day. Take it easy.